A gray wolf stands in the snow of a North American boreal forest. Its teeth are visible. Its body is tense. Every part of it belongs to the wild. Hunger, suspicion, distance, survival. Now cut to a kitchen at 2 in the morning. A person is sitting on the floor, crying quietly, trying not to wake anyone. A dog walks over, lowers its head, presses its body close, and stays there with oat being asked. Somehow, one of nature's most feared predators became a creature that can read human pain in silence. How did that happen? Did humans design dogs to love us? Did we carefully take wolves and turn them into emotional companions? Not exactly. The truth is stranger. Humans may not have created dogs on purpose. We may have accidentally triggered one of the greatest transformations in natural history. Most scientists believe early domestication did not begin with humans dragging wolves into camp and training them by force. It likely began with the boldest, least aggressive wolves approaching human settlements for scraps. The fearful wolves stayed away. The most aggressive wolves were driven off or killed. But the calmer wolves survived near humans, fed near humans, and eventually reproduced near humans. Generation after generation, selection favored wolves that could tolerate us. Their bodies changed. Their faces softened. Their stress responses shifted. Their social instincts became more flexible. Slowly, the animal at the edge of the fire became something new. Not quite wolf. Not yet dog. But a bridge between two species. And once that bridge formed, something remarkable happened. Dogs became experts at us. A dog does not understand human sadness the way another human does. It does not need language. It does not need a story. It reads the body. Your breathing changes. Your posture collapses. Your voice shifts. Your heartbeat rises. Stress hormones move through your system. Cortisol and other chemical traces leave through sweat and breath. To you, grief may feel private. To a dog, it may have a scent. Humans have only a few million olfactory receptors. Dogs have hundreds of millions. The part of a dog's brain devoted to analyzing smell is far larger than ours. For them, scent is not background. It is information. A room is not just a room. It is a record of who was there, what they touched, where they moved, and how their body changed. So when you are distressed, your dog may notice before you explain anything. It may not know the sentence, "My human is sad," but it can detect that something in you is different. The chemistry is changed. The body is signaling trouble. And then the dog makes a choice. It comes closer. That is the part that matters. Because detection alone is not empathy. A machine can detect a chemical. A trained animal can respond to a cue. But dogs often do something more intimate. They approach softly. They lower their bodies. They make physical contact. They stay. In one study, dogs were more likely to approach a person who was crying than a person who was simply talking or humming. Some of those people were strangers, not their owners. That matters because the dogs were not only protecting their own attachment figure, they were responding to distress itself. Their body language was not excited or playful. It was gentle, hesitant, almost submissive, as if they understood that the moment required softness. This does not prove dogs feel human sadness exactly as we do. Science has to be careful. But it does suggest that dogs are unusually tuned to emotional signals across species. They do not just live beside us. They monitor us. And their world is not built the way ours is. For years, people thought dogs lacked self-awareness because many failed the mirror test. A dog sees its reflection and usually does not behave as if it recognizes itself visually. But that may say more about the test than the dog. Humans are visual animals. Dogs are olfactory animals. Their identity is not written mainly in a face. It is written in scent. When researchers adapted self-recognition tests around smell, dogs showed that they could distinguish their own odor from altered versions of it. In other words, in the sensory world that actually matters to them, dogs may know themselves far better than a mirror suggests. That changes how we see the dog beside us. It is not a simple creature failing to become human. It is a mind built around another doorway into reality. A doorway made of smell, movement, emotion, memory, and social closeness. And somewhere inside that mind, over thousands of years, humans became important, not just as food providers, not just as shelter, but as social partners. The strange thing is that caring about another creature's distress is costly. It takes attention. It can create stress. It can pull an animal toward risk instead of away from it. In the wild, ignoring another species' suffering would often be simpler. But dogs evolved in the space between their world and ours. The ones that noticed humans survived better. The ones that read our gestures, voices, routines, and emotions fit more deeply into human life. Sensitivity became useful. Empathy became infrastructure. The ability to move toward a hurting human became part of the ancient bargain. We fed them. They watched us. We gave them firelight, shelter, and scraps. They gave us warning, companionship, and something we did not fully understand until much later, a non-human mind willing to pay attention to our pain. We may never know the qualia of a dog. We may never know what it feels like inside its mind when it presses its head against your leg, or lies beside you while you cry, or waits outside the door because your body smells wrong. Maybe it is love. Maybe it is attachment. Maybe it is a response to distress shaped by evolution and thousands of years of living beside us. Maybe it is something that does not fit perfectly into any human word. But the result is real. You hurt, and the dog comes closer. That is the quiet miracle. Humans did not set out to create a best friend. We did not design this tenderness from the beginning. We opened the edge of our camps, and a few wolves brave enough to approach began changing. Over time, fear softened into trust. Distance became companionship. A predator became a partner. And somewhere along the way, an animal that once watched us from the dark learned to walk toward us when we were broken. That choice survived ice ages, migrations, cities, wars, loneliness, and every kind of human sorrow. And now, after all that history, it is sitting beside you, listening, smelling, waiting. Not because it has to understand everything, but because it knows enough to stay.